Welcome to the Checkout Point, your quick dive into this week's e-commerce buzz with me, Alex, powered by Blikket. These 20 minutes pack the latest trends, news, and insights. Let's navigate the digital marketplace together. Ready? Let's go!
Hey folks, Max here, and you're tuned into The Checkout Point by Blikket.co, coming to you slightly over-caffeinated as usual.
And I'm Rachel, excited to share we're hitting week 28 of bringing you all the latest and greatest from the e-commerce world. Hope your week's been as thrilling as ours.
Speaking of thrilling, Rachel, did you see that article by Blikket's founder Alex in Fast Company? Talks about the surprising salary journey of UX and product designers and AI's role in it all. Pretty fascinating stuff.
Oh, absolutely, Max. It's a great read, and it's so intriguing how these roles evolve. Speaking of fascinating, we just published a new blog post on our site that I think our listeners are going to love.
That's right. It's called Unlock Hidden Growth, Boost eCommerce with Microconversions. We dive deep into how tiny steps taken by customers can be giant leaps for your business metrics.
And we're actually kicking off today's show with that very topic. There are some real-life success stories in there that you won't believe.
Then we've got a lowdown on Shopify's latest moves with Akaneo, and why this could be a game changer for merchants. Right, Rachel?
Exactly, Max. And don't miss our segment on how businesses are adapting to market shifts with innovative e-commerce strategies. Things are getting creative in response to rising tariffs and tech advances.
And just when you think you've caught your breath, we'll explore shifts in consumer behavior, especially with Gen Z and sustainable logistics. The e-commerce era is evolving before our eyes.
Plus, we'll look at how big companies are stepping up with AI and disaster relief to reshape shopping experiences. So much good stuff to cover today.
Lastly, hold on to your hats because we're closing with some bold predictions for Prime Day sales and what this could mean for the future of shopping.
It's going to be a packed show, Max, and I can't wait to dive into all these segments with you and our listeners.
So, folks, grab your coffee or tea and let's get this podcast rolling. You're listening to The Checkout Point. Stick around, it's going to be an informative ride. Hey, Rachel, have you ever thought about what really drives success in e-commerce? I mean, beyond just that final glorious buy now click?
Absolutely, Max. It's crazy because everyone focuses on that big sale moment. But there's so much more happening under the hood. That's why I love the new blog post we just dropped over on Blikket. The title says it all. Unlock Hidden Growth, Boost e-commerce with Microconversions.
Oh, that's a juicy one. It really flips the script on what we traditionally think about e-commerce success. It's like, instead of focusing just on those home run hits, we should also pay attention to the singles and doubles, right?
Exactly. The whole idea of microconversions, those smaller, often overlooked actions users take on a website that lead up to a purchase, I mean, that's gold for anyone running an online shop.
Totally. Like one of the key points from the post was about tracking how customers interact with product reviews or how often they update quantities in their shopping carts. It's not the sale itself, but it's all steering towards that outcome.
Right, and it's those little behaviors that can give you so much insight into what customers are actually thinking and where they might be getting stuck. What's cool is that tracking these can help tweak the user experience, push through common hurdles, and, ultimately increase those big conversions.
It really makes you think about the small wins you can celebrate along the customer journey. I found the part about optimizing those micro moments super helpful, like simply making those review sections more prominent or smoothing out the checkout process can make a huge difference.
And I love how actionable the points were. Sometimes you read these pieces and they're all theory, no meat. But this post lays out clear strategies that any business owner can start implementing right away. Adding those quick wins into your routine can build up to significant revenue boosts over time.
For sure. I'd actually recommend our listeners to dive into the full article. There's a bunch more detail in there about specific tactics, like setting up the right kind of analytics to catch these micro conversions. Like, you don't want to miss out on this if you're in e-commerce.
Oh, absolutely. And don't forget to check out those examples we included. They're real-life cases of businesses who made small tweaks with big payoffs. It's one thing to talk about theories, it's another to see them in action.
Agreed. Whether you're just starting your e-commerce site or looking to scale up, understanding and optimizing for microconversions could be a game changer. head over to Blikket.co and check out Unlock Hidden Growth. Boost e-commerce with microconversions. It's definitely going to give you some fresh perspective.
You're going to want to bookmark this one, folks. Grab a coffee, settle in, and get ready to take some notes. This could really revamp how you approach your online sales strategy.
So, jumping right off from our chat about microconversions in the last segment, it looks like Shopify is making some moves that might just boost e-commerce game changers for its users too.
Oh, absolutely, Max. And speaking of game changers, have you seen that recent piece on Shopify's latest partnership?
Yeah, are you talking about the one with Akeneo? Super cool update there. Basically, it's like Shopify and Akeneo are teaming up to bring merchants a smoother, more intuitive product experience. Honestly, it seems like they're trying to make things as seamless as possible for online stores.
That's such a good point, and actually, it ties perfectly into what we just discussed. With micro-conversions, every tiny part of the user experience counts, right? So enhancing the product experience, like what Shopify's aiming at with Akeneo, could really boost those subtle engagement points.
Exactly. And you know what's neat? Akeneo specializes in product information management systems. Imagine being a merchant juggling loads of product details, and then, bam! This partnership makes managing all that info a breeze.
But here's what I'm wondering. How does that actually work? I mean, can you give us a down-to-earth Nerf football analogy here, Max?
Oh, you betcha. All right, think of Shopify as the quarterback, right? And Akeneo, they're like the trusty running back. Shopify throws the football, aka the product details, into the field, and Akeneo runs with it, organizing and managing all the data so that everything on the e-commerce site is easy to browse and buy.
Ah, got it. That sports analogy surprisingly makes perfect sense.
I thought you might like that. And jumping into another tossed football here, remember the new article on 20 trending products and things to sell online by 2025?
Yes! And wait, seriously, some of the items on that list, mind-blowing. There's stuff there that I wouldn't have guessed in a million years would be trending.
No way, like what?
Oh, like eco-friendly products are not just a niche anymore. They're becoming mainstream. Shows you where the market's heading, huh?
Totally. Adapting to market trends is crucial. It's a bit like how retailers are gearing up for July sales events. Speaking of which, that's actually what we'll dive into in our next segment, touching on how retailers manage extra costs, like tariffs, during these events.
Oh, that's going to be a juicy one. And it ties back to knowing your market and having the right tools, like Shopify and Akeneo are putting out there.
For sure, it's all about staying on top of these trends and tools to keep your business ahead of the curve. Really makes you think about where all this is heading, right?
Absolutely. And it's these clever moves and partnerships that make the e-commerce world so fascinating to follow.
So Rachel, diving right in, you know how the July sales are pretty much a huge deal for retailers, right?
Absolutely. It's like the summer version of Black Friday. But I was just reading about how this year there's a twist with the added fun of tariff costs. How are stores handling this?
Well, basically, retailers are getting super creative with their strategies. They're absorbing some of the costs, tweaking product prices slightly, or even offering more in-store promotions to keep the foot traffic buzzing and offset those tariffs.
That's a smart move. Keeps the cash register ringing and customers happy. Speaking of strategies, this shifts us neatly into the world of e-commerce. I mean, based on what we've seen in the Shopify segment earlier, digital storefronts are evolving rapidly.
Right. Check this out, Rachel. Cisco had this article that delved into boosting e-commerce strategies. It's not just about having an online presence anymore. It's about optimizing it. Simple tweaks in design and user experience can make or break your digital store.
Oh, and that actually reminds me of what Alex from Blikket mentioned in his Fast Company piece about how UX designers start off on similar footing, but end up in very different places. It really ties back to the importance of design in e-commerce strategy, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's all about that long-term vision. Speaking of which, you won't believe some of the features predicted for successful B2B e-commerce apps by 2025.
Hit me with it. I'm all ears.
Okay, so one key feature is personalized dashboards. Imagine logging in and everything you need is just a tap away, tailor-made for your business needs.
Wait, seriously? That would be a game changer. Kind of like having your own digital business consultant, huh?
Exactly, and tied to that, the next big thing, integrated AI support. We're talking about smart systems that not only track your inventory, but predict your next big sell based on market trends.
No way. That's like having a crystal ball, but for your business. But here's what I'm wondering. How will all this tech tie into customer relationships? I mean, tech is cool, but at the end of the day, it's about the people, right?
You nailed it. And that's where things get interesting. These apps are also expected to have enhanced communication features, like better interfaces for real-time interaction between suppliers and businesses.
That's such a good point. It keeps the human element right at the center, even amid all the tech. Hey, talking about trends, next up, we're going to explore how Gen Z is influencing the changing dynamics of e-commerce. I bet that's going to tie back to everything we're discussing now, especially on personalization and tech.
For sure, Gen Z loves their personalized experiences. Can't wait to dive into that. But for now, folks, keep shaking up those digital and retail strategies. Remember, it's all about staying ahead of the curve.
And keeping it real for the customers and talking about real, these insights today, super cool and definitely something to think about as businesses navigate these exciting, tech-driven times.
So, Rachel, we just talked about those tricky tariffs and their impact on retail strategy, right? Now, diving into something that's quite a game changer in the e-commerce world. There's this buzz about the slowing growth in e-commerce. Ever thought about what's behind this shift?
You're right, Max. I was just thinking about that. These days, everyone's glued to their screens shopping away, but it looks like even that's hitting some kind of plateau. It's not just about buying anymore. It's how you get your goodies. And guess who's steering this ship? Gen Z.
Ah, the Gen Z factor. Always shaking things up. You know, there was this article on Supply Chain Brain about how retailers are tweaking their delivery services just to appeal to Gen Z. It's all about being quick, efficient, and above all, sustainable.
Exactly. But here's what I'm wondering. How sustainable can we get with our current logistics? I mean, e-commerce has been this massive driver for logistics demand, right?
Totally. And speaking of logistics, it's not just about moving goods faster, it's about smarter moves. This ties back to something we're tackling in our next segment about consumer experience. Like how companies, hello Walmart, are digging deep into their pockets, like that cool 500K light for flood relief in Texas, melding social responsibility with business.
That's a neat point. And talking about business, there's this FTI consulting report hinting that we might be seeing the endgame for what's been this epic e-commerce era. Kind of makes you wonder, what's next, right?
Right? And let's not forget the investors hanging on to every bit of this drama. There was another piece highlighting the e-commerce stocks to watch. It's like a roller coaster, honestly. 1 minute you're up, next minute, who knows?
Oh, I just have to jump in here. This whole scenario makes me think of those old arcade games. Where you navigate through these mazes, gobbling up points, dodging those pesky ghosts.
Exactly, Rachel. E-commerce is definitely playing its own version of Pac-Man with the market. But instead of ghosts, it's tariffs, logistic demands, and consumer preferences.
Speaking of preferences, it's interesting how everything intertwines. The delivery tweaks for Gen Z, stock market reactions, evolving logistics. It's like a giant puzzle where every piece impacts the other.
You nailed it. And as much as we see some plateauing, the innovation in response, especially targeted at the Gen Z expectations, is something I'd keep an eye on. Could be what turns the game around, don't you think?
Definitely, though I must say I am not entirely convinced that it's the finale for e-commerce. Maybe just a transformation? The scene changes. New players, new tactics.
Well said. As the retail world keeps spinning, I guess we'll just have to strap in and see where this roller coaster takes us next. All right, diving right into some fresh news from the e-commerce world. Guess who's playing Santa this year? Walmart's writing a big fat check for $500,000 to help out with Texas flood relief.
Wait, seriously? That's super generous. It's great to see big companies pitching in like that. It reminds me of how we talked about businesses needing to connect more with their communities, especially with the younger Gen Z shoppers we discussed earlier.
Exactly. And speaking of connecting, this ties into something else that's super cool. AI is stepping into the shopping scene in a big way. OpenAI has rolled out new tools that let retailers like Shopify create personalized AI assistants. Think about it. Shopping online and this smart assistant pops up, helping you find just what you need, kind of like a personal shopper who's also a bit of a mind reader.
Oh, I just have to jump in here, Max. That sounds amazing, but I'm not entirely convinced yet. I mean, how personal can an AI really get? Isn't part of shopping the personal touch, chatting with someone who actually understands your style?
I hear you, Rachel. But here's the deal. These AI assistants learn from interactions. So, the more you shop, the better they get at predicting what you'll like. It's like having a buddy that remembers all your past outfits and somehow knows exactly what new stuff you'll vibe with.
That's fascinating. But let's pivot a moment to something related from the retail technology news this month. They're talking a lot about integrating these AIs to not only assist in shopping, but also to improve overall consumer experience. Imagine a scenario where the AI not only suggests products, but also guides you through complicated transactions or returns.
Right, and that seamless experience could really shift how satisfied customers feel. No one likes to fuss with complicated returns, right? Now, mixing that in with what we've seen with slowing e-commerce growth among younger users, maybe these AI enhancements could be a game changer.
Pulling us back to the big picture, Max. And speaking of the future, this brings up an interesting point related to our next segment. With all these advancements, Adobe's predicting a massive spike in Prime Day sales, nearly $24 billion over 4 days.
No way. That's like a whole lot of zeros. With AI making shopping easier, maybe more people are just clicking buy left and right. It's all starting to connect. Better consumer experiences leading to more sales, eh?
Exactly, and it's not just about buying more, but buying smarter, with technology tailoring the experience. Still, as cool as AI is, I wonder how it will balance with the human element. Will it enhance it, or will we miss chatting with real people?
Good question. Maybe it'll be a blend of both, like having your cake and eating it too. Or in this case, having your AI and human help too. But hey, let's keep a close eye on how these developments impact shopping behavior over the next big sale event.
Definitely something to watch. And speaking of watching, don't forget to tune into our next chat where we'll dive deeper into those e-commerce sales projections.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world. All right, friends, keep your shopping carts ready and your AI assistants on alert. So, jumping off from our last chat about how Walmart's stepping up for flood relief, which, by the way, super cool of them, let's nosedive into something a bit more, well, exhilarating in the e-commerce realm.
Oh, exhilarating, you say? What have you got for us?
Check this out. Adobe's dropping some major predictions for the upcoming Prime Day sales, and the numbers are simply jaw-dropping. We're talking almost $24 billion in sales over just 4 days.
Wait, seriously? $24 billion. That's like if you stacked up $1 bills, you could probably reach the moon. Well, maybe not, but it sure feels like it.
Exactly. It's like every year these sales just keep ballooning. It's incredible to see how much people are willing to spend when the right deals hit the digital shelves.
That is massive, but here's what I'm wondering. What does that mean for the smaller players in the market? I mean, not everyone can be a behemoth like Amazon.
Great point, Rachel. It's actually a game changer for the smaller businesses. Because these hype trains, like Prime Day, create huge traffic spikes, and that often spills over. Small and medium enterprises sometimes tag along with their own promotions.
That's a good angle, like ride the wave of the big guys, right? But shifting gears a bit, speaking of waves, there's also some chatter about which e-commerce stocks are looking juicy for 2026. MarketBeat just put out some forecasts, and honestly, the growth potential? Really juicy.
Juicy indeed. It feels like everyone's trying to get a piece of that e-commerce pie. Makes you think, where were all these pundits during our lemonade stand days, right? Could have used those projections when we were selling 5-cent cups.
Definitely. But those projections, they aren't pulling these out of thin air. They've seen the trends, the shifts in consumer behavior we talked about, like how companies are upping their game in customer experience.
Exactly. And all that loops perfectly with the kind of evolution we're seeing in the market. Like how some folks are more skeptical when buying online now, so businesses are really pushing transparent and speedy services. Say, speaking of which, how do you think all this ties back to the humanitarian stuff, like the Walmart story we touched on before?
I see what you mean. It's all about trust, isn't it? Whether it's a company handling a crisis or handling your shopping cart, you want to feel like you're in safe hands.
Oh, totally. And with bigger sales come bigger responsibilities, right? Be it in how businesses respond to social issues or how they handle our online mega shopping sprees.
I'm not entirely convinced everyone's handling it well, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Max, you think we're going into an era where every day feels like a holiday sales bonanza?
If the trends keep up like this, Rachel, our wallets might need to gear up for some marathons. But hey, who doesn't love a good deal?
True that. And as we all strap in for this sales roller coaster, it'll be interesting to see how the e-commerce landscape evolves. More deals, more tech, more everything.
And of course, we'll be right here to break down all those big numbers and trends for you.
Wouldn't miss it for the world. And, I'm particularly keen to see how these predictions play out.
Oh, same here. I mean, who doesn't love seeing the future unfold? Right in your shopping cart, no less.
Exactly. Bring on those future deals.
And just like that, we're wrapping up another episode here at the checkout point. Thanks for hanging out with us this week, folks.
Absolutely. It's been a blast delving into everything from microconversions to e-commerce predictions. Can you believe this was week 28 of the year already? Time flies when you're having fun or when you're deep into e-commerce trends, right?
Definitely does. Speaking of fun, I hope you all enjoyed our dive into the Shopify and Akeneo partnership today. The way e-commerce is evolving is just mind-blowing.
Oh, for sure. And how about those discussions on the impact of tariffs and those inventive retail strategies? It's fascinating to see how businesses are adapting. There's always something new on the horizon in this field.
Oh, and speaking of something new, did you catch that article by Alex from Blikket and Fast Company? Talk about an eye-opener regarding UX and product designer salaries and the looming shadow of AI.
Yes, that certainly adds another layer to our discussions, doesn't it? It makes you wonder how these roles will evolve in the near future. Might be something we need to circle back to in an upcoming episode.
So, if you enjoyed hanging out with us today, we'd love it if you joined us again next week for more e-commerce news and, yes, you guessed it, possibly more of my terrible jokes.
We wouldn't have it any other way, Max. And hey, if you're looking for more insights and resources, be sure to check out Blikket.co. There's a ton of valuable stuff over there.
Till next time, keep pushing those shopping carts and thinking big about small conversions. We'll catch you next week.
Stay curious and remember, every little click in your web shop is a step towards bigger things. Bye, everyone. Take care.
See you around, everyone.